Batman vs. Dracula. Need I say more? Welcome to the Complete Story series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Lately, there's been a little bit of a red rain that's been falling over Gotham, causing many people to stay indoors, as well as Bruce Wayne. However, as he dreams, he can see a mist come into his room. And soon, that mist turns into a woman. It's as if the woman's eyes pin him down, not allowing him to move. Though through her murmured words, he can hear her say something about the night, the eternal darkness, and a gift. As he wakes, the woman is gone, and it was all just a dream. Later that night, Bruce heads out to investigate a recent string of murders, all with the victims' throats slit. Each time he goes out, he's always just too late to find the one doing this. And the next night, Bruce awakens from the same dream again, but he feels better this time, refreshed, vibrant, and he feels that this night will be special. As he sits and watches from the rooftops, Bruce sees a homeless man pushing a cart, and from the shadows, there's a hiss. Suddenly, a woman leaps out, slashing at the homeless man, and once he falls, the woman leans down and bites into his neck. Bruce jumps down to stop the woman, and then he sees that there's something different about her. She's clearly mad, but now she's almost demonic. The woman quickly jumps up again towards Bruce, and he tries to fight her off, but the woman manages to hit Bruce and escape. He quickly chases her down the alley that she ran down, except the alley is a dead end, and she is nowhere to be found. After going back to the victim, Bruce notices these killings were not just the throats being cut. The throats being slit are a cover-up for the bite marks that the victims had just received. Once going back home, Bruce gets back into bed, and like always, he has the same dream of the woman coming to visit. However, this time, he can hear her words more clearly. Vampires are real, and not all of them are evil. Bruce wakes up and he can tell that something is different. Something happened. His suspicion was confirmed when he went to a car and ripped the door handle off, and then he discovered that he could completely lift the car. With all of this going on, Bruce went to visit Ariane to learn about vampire lore. She tells him that the common knowledge of vampires was supposedly created through evil alchemy of the blood, giving them immortality, increased strength, and sensitivity to the sunlight. They can also transfer this condition through bites. They were also able to transform into a bat, mist, or even wolves. And they are only harmed by silver, the cross, sunlight, or a reliable oak stake. Taking this information to heart, Bruce heads out to the courtyard where he chased the woman to see how she managed to escape, and as he looks around, he sees a storm gate. So if they can transform into mist then, he walks over to the storm gate and with a slight tug, he rips the bars from the ground and he easily tosses it to the side and he jumps down. But what he finds isn't the 3 bodies that have been reported dead, but a lot more. A whole lot more. At the base of the pile of corpses, there is something that begins to crawl out, and it looks hungry. And then more begin to move. Bruce begins to escape, and then he finds more of these creatures, and these ones are looking more human. So Bruce does what he must, and he begins to fight, and even with his new strength, he can't stop all of them. That is until one of them is shot in the back with a wooden stake, and soon the rest fall. Bruce begins to watch these bodies hit the ground, and he hears a voice, and he sees a woman telling him, vampires are real, but not all are evil. And then he realizes that this is the woman. This is the woman from his dreams. She tells him that he doesn't need to fear her, but before she can continue, the wind picks up the sewer and everyone sees a giant bat fly down, telling the woman, Tanya, we meet again. The bat begins to transform into a human shape, telling them to get on your knees and end your lives. Slowly, Tanya and her followers begin to drop to their knees and they pull out their guns, pointing them at their own heads. They struggle not to, but they can't help themselves any longer, and these people will be under the full control of this mystery man. So Bruce jumps in, kicking the man into the sewers, telling Tanya to escape. As the man gets back up, he starts to attack, slashing away at Bruce's stomach. And as Bruce is backed into a corner, he tells this man, I love this. So he takes the blood and he begins to draw on the wall in the form of a cross, telling him, come at me if you can. The sun shines down through the sewers, and with no other choice, the man begins to change back into a giant bat and he begins to leave. But not before stating that the next time that they meet, Bruce's blood will be his. As the man leaves, Bruce pulls himself out of the sewers. He won't be able to do much else if there isn't any blood left in him. After going home and resting for the night, Tanya appears before him, telling him that once again, she is here not to take, but to give. The one thing that he's going to need before all of this is over. What's happening to Gotham? It's a harvest by the the Lord of the Undead, and Bruce finishes her sentence stating, by Dracula. She explains that Dracula is building his army using the homeless people around Gotham until he is ready to take the rest of the city. But Bruce stops her asking, how is it that you're supposed to oppose him then? Tanya tells him, by losing her humanity. A long time ago she was converted and she watched as Dracula ate people, but one night after watching a child she realized was from her former life, she escaped. She lived off animals, but eventually developed serums, an artificial plasma that can help her wean off the cycle of killing and creating more undead. Though it was not an easy task, she was able to free herself. From there, she began giving that serum to others who wished to be like her and oppose their master. But after all of this time, she was never able to get close to him. That is, until he came to Gotham. However, even though they have not been under his spell for very long, they can still not reset his actual presence, which is why she came to him. Right now, he is Gotham's last hope. The two of them will work together to seek out Commissioner Gordon to tell him about their plans, but after explaining the whole vampires and Dracula thing, he's a bit hesitant on believing them. Tanya tells him that she'll show him and she baths her fangs, causing Gordon to shoot her. And after the shots, she stands back up stating if she really wanted his blood, 1,000 bullets wouldn't stop her. So he says that he'll get the word out, but what is it that they plan to do? Bruce tells him that he's not sure, but Dracula hurt him and he needs rest. But we do have a plan to take out all of his minions. So he begins to explain, and as he does, he falls to his knees, still not fully recovered from Dracula's attack, and Tanya takes him away. And as Gordon leaves, a giant bat figure appears before him. As Bruce starts to wake up, he sees himself hooked up for a blood transfusion from Tanya. She tells him that their time is short. Dracula has taken his friend. Thinking it's Alfred, Bruce jumps out of the bed and begins running downstairs, and then he sees Alfred there. So who did she mean by his friend? But before long, vampires begin to attack the manor, jumping through the windows, and with Bruce's new blood, they manage to take them out rather easily, and then they begin staking them through their hearts. So he gets back up, and Bruce begins to hear on the TV a special report has gone out, that James Gordon is currently missing. Bruce tells Alfred that he knows what he needs to do. They can't drop their plan now, and Alfred asks if they're really going to, but Bruce stops him. Yes, you know where to meet me once this is all over. Bruce heads back into the sewers and he sneaks up on a group of guards and he throws batarangs, getting their attention, and then he begins causing them to chase. As he ducks through the sewers, he begins leading them back to the manor, and when they all get to the opening, Tanya and her men begin to open fire on the vampires from behind. The rest of the vampire clan begins to chase Bruce as he blows a hole in the wall into the Batcave. All of the minions make their way into the Batcave as Bruce runs upstairs and he prepares for the explosion. And the Batcave begins to explode, bringing it to the ground, and the sunlight begins to open up, burning everyone, leaving only Tanya and another vampire alive. She tells him that he is the last one, and he taunts her, stating that she can't get him without killing herself, so she does. She leaves out, grabbing the man and holding them both in the sunlight, and once it's done, Tanya's dead. So is the man. So Bruce presses a button and the rest of the manor is destroyed with it. As the dust settles, Bruce gets out, knowing of Tanya's sacrifice, keeping the vampires down with her. And to that he tells her, rest in peace. Once he stands over the wreckage, Dracula swoops down and Bruce tells him, you know, this is far from over. Bruce leaves for the meeting place where Alfred is waiting and he begins preparing for the next battle. And Alfred begins to ask, how do you plan on getting there? We don't even have a car anymore. Bruce takes off his jacket, showing him wings, telling him, we won't need a car. This was my gift from a heroic woman. And with that, Bruce flies off, and he makes his way to the tower where Dracula is staying. As Dracula sits drinking blood, asking Gordon when does he think he will come, a batarang flies through, knocking the cup out of his hands. Bruce tells him, now, leaping into punch, and the two of them begin their struggle, each punching and knocking each other away. Once the time comes, Bruce unties Gordon and throws another batarang into Dracula's face, but these ones, they're laced with silver. After many more are thrown, weakening him, Dracula begins to escape, and with his wings, Bruce follows. As he flies above him, Bruce waits for the perfect time, and then he strikes. The two begin punching and fighting in the air, and Dracula grabs a hold of Bruce to bite into his neck. Lightning strikes a nearby telephone pole, and using this chance, Bruce stabs Dracula with a batarang, and then aims them both down towards the broken telephone pole. As they get closer, Bruce kicks Dracula off, sending him down, piercing him through the chest with a telephone pole. Dracula begins to scream out in pain as the stake goes through his entire chest, and Bruce watches as he begins to burn until there's nothing left. But even after killing him, the bite that he received is still too much, and Bruce falls. After following them, Alfred jumps out of his car stating, "No, no, no, no." And word begins to spread, and with the destruction of Wayne Manor, Bruce is pronounced dead. Alfred leaves, going back to where he and Bruce met, and then he goes down into its basement to look over Bruce's body, stating he still can't get over the fact that there wasn't a spark of life left in him. Bruce leans up stating, "I am dead, but don't worry. Bruce Wayne is dead, but Batman will live forever." That concludes part 1 of Batman vs. Dracula, the Vampire Batman saga. Now there are 2 more parts, and if you want me to tell you those stories, give this video a like, and we'll bring them back to you very, very soon. I hope you enjoy Halloween, and I hope you enjoy our Marvel special coming out tomorrow.